Good morning. It's time to get in touch. In Touch is a public affairs show dedicated to improving the lives of Susquehanna Valley residents. I'm Freddi Hammer, News Director at Backyard Broadcasting.
Happy to be on the phone today with Ron Frick, President of the Lycoming County United Way, Melyssa McHale, Director of Community Impact at the United Way. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, this is certainly something that we need to talk about today because we're going to be identifying a group of people in our community and many communities that we may recognize, which are folks who are working hard but may not have the income and the ability to make sure that they have all the things that they need. And we have a name for those folks. They're called Alice. So, Ron, give me a little overview of Alice and who we're thinking about when we talk about Alice.
Sure. So thanks for the opportunity to do this. ALICE is an acronym, and it stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, and Employed. And United Way of Pennsylvania, in cooperation with United Ways really all across the country now, partnered with the United Way in northern New Jersey, who published a study probably 6 or 7 years ago now around a survival budget. And so we, as a United Way in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, participated in the first rollout of this report 2 years ago. Didn't get a lot of play in the community, didn't get a lot of focus, and we've all kind of been busy trying to focus on other things the last few years. But one of the things that that came out of that was in 2021, just a few weeks ago, we basically refreshed that data and added some additional data to the survival budget and also to what Alice struggles with. And the reason that the United Way of Northern New Jersey and United Ways across the country came up with the acronym is because we really thought it was disingenuous to talk about people who are working poor. I don't know many of my friends who are holding down 2 jobs and trying to do the best they can to take care of their families. They don't really appreciate being called working poor.
I can see how that is a good change.
Right. And so we as an organization decided that it would be really helpful to put a face to Alice. And so Alice can be your neighbor who works at a local hotel who cleans hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. Alice could be a licensed professional at a nursing home that takes care of your mom or dad or loved one. Alice can be someone that you're very close to that works very hard in your community but just has a really difficult time meeting the survival budget. And so what United Way of Northern New Jersey came up with a few years ago, and we've just continued to enhance, is what does Alice need to survive? Mm-hmm. And so we came up with a household budget, which is really a reflection of the bare minimum cost to live and work in the modern economy. It includes things like housing, childcare, food, transportation, healthcare, technology, because believe it or not, we live in a society now where just about everything you do is on your cell phone. Mm-hmm. And so while we used to think that was a luxury, it's not a luxury for Alice. It's a necessity. And so if you think about what that survival budget looks like, as an example, just to pick a 2-adult wage-earning family, mm-hmm. The average survival budget in Lycoming County on an annual basis is $35,784. And so that person, in order to meet those basic needs of housing and food and transportation, health care, those kinds of things, basically needs to make $17.89 an hour.
Did that surprise you?
It really doesn't surprise me,
okay.
Because the cost of living has gone up significantly, and that's why we refresh the data to make sure that we're giving accurate information, and we do it by county and then also by municipality. So listeners can really go to the United Way of Pennsylvania's website, which is uwp.org. Mm-hmm. And /Alice, and they can get information on the full report in Pennsylvania and also by county and by municipality. So if you live in, I know the station's in Loyalsock Township. If you live in Loyalsock Township and you want to find out how many people are in this Alice category, you can do that by just clicking on the website, and it'll give you basic information on the number of households that are in your community. So in Pennsylvania, in Lycoming County, there's 113,000 people when we checked in 2018, which was the last point-in-time data that we used for the county profiles, and we're going to update those again. But the number of households was about 45,000, and of those 45,000 households, 24% of them were considered Alice. It's a quarter of our population in Lycoming County.
There's almost 3 categories of people, those that are working to get out of it, those that are stuck in it, and those who are making their way toward it.
Yeah, so one of the things that Melyssa and I are working on with our community partners is how do we help put people on a path to financial stability. So if you're currently in below the federal poverty line, which is a little over $12,000 a year, but if you're below that, then how do we help you move to become a two-wage earner, to become Alice? And then how do we help Alice on a path to financial stability so that Alice can afford to send his or her children to college, or can afford to save, or can afford things beyond the survival budget? But in order to get to those other things, we have to make sure that Alice is able to survive and be able to meet the basic needs that all of us, quite frankly, in most cases, take for granted.
When you have a survival budget, is that fluid in any way? Does it just move with the cost of living changes?
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why we update this every 2 years. And United Ways across the Commonwealth, including ours, are actually contributing to the improvement and the refresh of the data. So there are, probably over 50 different United Way affiliates in Pennsylvania, and most of us are contributing some portion of our annual budget. So our donors who are supporting our United Way are also helping us to support this data so that we can basically take the information and then develop programs around that information and help our existing community partners to be able to support this particular group of folks, which, as I said, is a quarter of our population.
You recently had a new awareness meeting. You had that via Zoom last week, and to put together probably all the folks that you want to make aware, the people that are in the Alice category. What did that particular meeting online do to help you get more toward your goals?
Well, one of the reasons why we did it on a statewide basis is because we think there's a number of people that we reach out to that don't necessarily know about Alice or who Alice is. And so we try to, at least on a biannual basis, do a large press conference on a statewide basis. And then what's helpful is, quite frankly, the kinds of things that we're doing with you this morning, which is just getting our local folks in Lycoming and Sullivan and Tioga County to understand, who are these folks that we're trying to help, and how does their individual contributions and their support of United Ways in our community across the Commonwealth, how does that support help this group of people that we all need in our community?
Making around $35,000 a year, almost to me, who's not had a huge income in my life, almost seems like, wow, you could really work with that. Is that surprising to some folks that realize, oh my gosh, I'm in this category?
Well, I'm going to let Melissa talk about that, because she probably is in a position where she has friends and folks that she knows that are in this category.
Okay.
So.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi. I mean, my friends, they are still living at home, still trying to get their feet wet with employment, but yet they have student loans, car loans, phone bills. We're all working towards this goal, but as the cost of living keeps rising, our wages don't. So I feel a lot of the people I know might fit into this category, trying to improve their lives, but yet not getting anywhere.
What steps do you take to improve those goals? I mean, to improve those circumstances, what goals do you employ to get to that level? Do you get ideas and you're always moving towards something new, or do you have some tried and true traditional things that work?
Well, I think for us, we have relied on on our community partners to try to help in these situations. One of the things that was pretty stark to us is when COVID-19 hit, a lot of folks that were in the Alice population were impacted by COVID-19. So, when hotels are reducing occupancy and people are struggling, to travel and spend money because of COVID-19, those folks are unemployed. And so now we have to be careful that the Alice folks don't fall in below the poverty line. And how do we help those folks, through the pandemic? And there's obviously federal and state and local programs that we were able to leverage to do that. But on an annual basis, our goal is to try to find ways to talk about things like workforce development. What can we do in job retraining to help people to become more financially independent and be able to meet some of these survival budget issues that we've been talking about? Things like plant closures. When ShopVac closed down a few months ago, you had two wage earners at ShopVac that were barely in the Alice group, and now are trying to figure out how do they make ends meet when they don't have a job, or when two wage earners at the same company don't have a job. So it's a combination of things, and we're fortunate in our community because we have a lot of community partners that we all support, and that the United Way supports, that are helping get people on this path to financial stability. I use Family Promise as a good example of that. They have a rent match program that we fund that people, when they're in homelessness, are actually saving. And when they're able to save enough money, we help to match those savings and get them into permanent housing. Whether that's an apartment or a home or whatever. We had a situation that we recognized last year where a person that was actually in homelessness ended up being able to purchase their own home with support from Family Promise and support from the United Way. Working through those things. So, again, that's a classic example of someone who was literally homeless and is now two-wage earner working toward, things that they dream about as an American.
You influence policymakers in the community, so then they are now aware of an Alice person, and they can make changes or choices that may be able to help. I guess that's how you can be quite a diplomat around here.
Well, yeah, and one of the things that we are doing as a United Way and practicing more and more is the issue of advocacy, and you're absolutely right. Melyssa and I have been meeting with both state and local legislators to be able to explain to them what is this population, who is Alice, and how can they influence policy in Harrisburg and in Washington to be able to help this population. So some of the policies that you're seeing being advanced at all levels of government are how do we help this population? And we've talked before, I know, on your show about Pennsylvania 211. That's another service that the United Way helps to fund that helps this group. So if there's particular needs that are not being met, Alice is relying on Pennsylvania 211 to be able to get access to that information.
There's the different groups of people. There's the people that receive the help, and then there's the people that give the help, and then people who give the ideas to both sides. Like, here's what you can do, and here's how you can help. It's such a wonderful sort of enveloping process helping each community.
Yeah, and and every community is different, and that's the beauty of each United Way affiliate in the communities. We're really spending time, Melyssa talking with our individual community partners and working in the community to try to understand what are the community needs, and then how are we able to assist in helping those. And the report, the Alice report, is really helpful in helping us to determine, what kinds of things should we be doing as a community that we may or may not be doing right now to help Alice.
We have this overview that you and I and Melyssa talk about, and really when you talk to different groups and organizations, you get much more specific, I'm sure, to their particular issues or things they can provide.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of this is informational, and so having this voice on your show and having media presence in our community, we are also going to be educating legislators on this topic. So United Way of Pennsylvania has a very strong advocacy focus at the state level, and so we're going to be meeting with our colleagues in Harrisburg to try to make sure that they understand, both on a state level and on a local level, what are the needs that Alice has.
You said that there is a great deal of information available at uwp.org/Alice. Is that stuff just from recently, or is that also from the time from about a couple years ago when you also put forth information identifying Alice? Is that all together?
Yep. So there's basically information for the current year, and then there's information that goes back several years. So you can actually see, for example, how the number of Alice households have changed over time. So, for example, in Lycoming County, the Alice population has actually decreased somewhat from 2016 to 2018. So the last time we looked at the data, there were 10,834 households that were considered Alice, and now there's 10,788. So it's slightly lower, which means we're doing a good job in some ways. And Alice is finding ways to meet that survival budget. All available on that website, and you can see not only the full report, but there's also some information out there which we think is interesting on the impact of COVID-19 on Alice. So those are some things that, if you just visit uwp.org/Alice, there's a myriad of information for folks to find out, who is Alice, how are we all working together to support Alice, There's a really good video to kind of describe the process, and I think that might be helpful for people to take a look at.
We're coming up on Raise the Region shortly, and so that whole possibility for the United Way receiving funds and many other nonprofit organizations, that's like an in-between that folks know they need the help and can hopefully be able to donate some of those funds that are so needed.
Yep, and Melissa's working on that. We just sat through our annual training for Raise the Region. This will be our third or fourth, fifth year maybe now.
Wow.
Working with the First Community Foundation Partnership of Pennsylvania on trying to raise money for Raise the Region. Every year we have pretty big goals. We have some interesting things we're going to try differently this year to try to get more awareness around the work that we're doing and how the community can help. And then, in addition to that, I'll let Melissa talk to you a little bit about some of the fun things we're doing this month to raise some awareness and some funds and again, all to help the folks that we're working with in our community. So I'll let Melissa talk to you a little bit about what's going on in February.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, actually, we are partnering with UPMC for Alabaster's Community Tap. We are their charity program this February. So throughout the month of February, when you go over to Alabaster and you order the Cup of Love, $2 from Alabaster will come back, and we got matching sponsors, including Lycoming College, WISE, some board of our directors from our board, and so we will get more than $2 per cup sold. So if you just go over there, order the Cup of Love, it's a cappuccino with a strawberry drizzle, and it's delicious.
Oh, my gosh. I want a Cup of Love right now, Melissa.
Oh, my gosh. It's really good. So you definitely have to go over there and try it.
I can tell you're a fan.
Yes. And I love their coffee. It's just phenomenal. And also what we are doing throughout February and March, we are doing a Facebook raffle. So just to check that out, go on Facebook and look up the Lycoming County United Way, and you could see our raffles going on 2 per week.
Okay.
With the gift card.
Well, that's fun. So 2021's starting off pretty good. There's lots of information that we can now tell our friends about. Hey, you own a business. Can you help in this way or in those ways? I'm hoping that this program can help folks feel that.
Well, we are extremely grateful for for not only your show and InTouch and our friends at Backyard Broadcasting, but really the entire community that supports our United Way. We'll be celebrating 100 years of existence in 2022, and
wow.
So, for 99 years we've been involved in trying to help assess the needs of the community and mobilize resources in the community to do good. And so we're so grateful for the community support from our media partners, particularly Backyard Broadcasting and you and all of your colleagues over there that reach out to us and help us to bring awareness to a very important topic like Alice.
Well, we'll continue to get updates from you throughout the year. I can't wait to talk with you during Raise the Region. We'll certainly be involved then. So thanks to you, Ron Frick, President of the Lycoming County United Way. Melyssa McHale, Director of Community Impact at the United Way. Good luck to you and all of your plans. We just wish you the best of luck as you continue to work hard for our community with us, part hand in hand, really.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you, Freddi.
InTouch is locally produced in our studios at 1685 4 Mile Drive in Williamsport. To get in touch with us regarding questions, comments, or topic ideas, call weekdays between 8 and 5, 570-323-8200. You can also write to us at 1685 4 Mile Drive, Williamsport, PA 17701. Attention Freddi Hammer. Or email me at fhammer@backyardbroadcasting.com. For archive programs of our InTouch series, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Backyard Broadcasting. Each current weekly program is featured on the Backyard Broadcasting websites. Thanks for listening to InTouch, a production of Backyard Broadcasting.